Okay, hello, good evening. This is Cycle 1, Week 18, what we did in community today. I am propped up here just so you can see me. I'm going to start with timeline and show you the hand motions that we did. So we did Cherokee, as if we're doing war paint, Cherokee, and then I bring your fingers down for Indian. So Cherokee Trail of Tears, U.S. westward expansion, so we're just going from east to west. Marx publishes the Communist Manifesto. The Compromise of 1850. So again, we're doing like the same, like we're in agreement of. So Compromise of 1850. And the Dred Scott decision. They ruled that he was still a slave. So U.S. restores trade with Japan. British Queen Victoria we're going to make X's, rules over India. Darwin publishes the Communist Manifesto. So we're like putting a key in the ignition and we're starting. So he's starting writing, creating the Communist Manifesto. Okay, or no, I'm sorry, the Origin of Species. Did I say that right? Darwin publishes The Origin of Species. Wow, okay, a long day. For math, we did the same tune, and so we did area of a triangle. The area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. So let me just do the whole tune so I don't mess up the triangle part. The area of a rectangle equals length times width. Let me try that again. The area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square equals length of its side squared L squared. The area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. And then we'll finish next week. For history, and I had them do silly songs. So we just went around the table and everybody, or silly voices, and so they just did, or a silly action, and then so they just repeated and said the action. So moms, you can do these things at home. You'll get them memorizing these things in no time with just a simple something like that. Tell me about the mound builders for history. So we just sang through the song. And I showed them some pictures. I'm trying to think like if I did anything crazy with that. So I don't think so. We just went through the song quite a few times, and I said it a few times. The song was short, so we just kept playing it a few times. I can't remember. I think that was pretty much it. We didn't really come up with anything exciting for that. For geography, we talked about the Mesoamerica regions, and so I came up with just a little chant. So I did Mesoamerica regions: Gulf of Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula, Olmec, Mayan, and the Aztec. And so then we just pointed out those civilizations, and we used the dry erase markers today, and we just circled, and every time we went through, we erased, and then circled again, and erased. And that was it. We just also talked about how the Gulf of Mexico was now renamed the Gulf of America, but until CC changes it, we just continue to call it the same thing. For science, we talked about what are 4 types of ocean floor, and then we just did hand motions. So we did 4 types of ocean floor are, and we did continental shelf, continental shelf, the abyssal plain, the mid-ocean ridge, and then trench. Sorry, my camera's in a bad spot because it's charging. For English, we continued the same tune for the helping verbs. So, helping verbs, do, does, did, has, have, has, have, had, may, must, might, should, could, would, were the 3 we did today. And so we just continued to do that. We had the tape still on the floor from last week, so we just used the tape again. And I just had them jump from tape to tape and saying those. So we really ingrained the should, could, would, and then I had them do it all, do all 4 weeks, and then they got to jump in the beanbag at the end, so they loved that. And then for Latin, that was our last. We just continued with the second declension noun endings, and we are singing it to the tune of Dashing Through the Snow. And so it was so fast. I had some kids be teachers and point to it, and we said them all, and we just sang with them, and they let us, and we sang them fast, and that was pretty much it. So we talked about El Greco for art, and we did the foot with Art with Allie, I think is who did that one. So we traced our shoes, and then we drew the person kind of standing in the middle between the shoes to make her or him, I have all boys, so make him look like a really tall person. So El Greco liked to stretch out his images. And then for science, we finally finished, and I only say that just because it is my least strong area to teach, and it was science. And so I am literally reading the paper word for word. So I try so hard to I'm just afraid to miss something. So sometimes I do better than others. But anyway, your kids are so forgiving. So thank you. But we talked, we had set the heat lamp up, and we talked about how when the heat warms the air, the air molecules get real hot and real fast, and they start racing up away from the heat, and that allows for this convection cycle to occur where the cool air then comes in, and then you're constantly warming that air, and as the warm air comes up, the cool air comes in. And so they were able to see the tissue paper spin above the lamp. It was really cool. And then what was the other one we did? Oh, we talked about just the gravity and the atmospheric pressure. And so we filled up a container of water, and I pulled the water up, and I said, how come all that water's still staying in there? Because that atmospheric pressure is keeping it there. And so, and that was it. So for review, we sprinkled some review in during art time, and then we finished at the end with just throwing a bag on the subject cards, and that was pretty much it. We just went through, we got through, I think, like 95% of the review. We were so close. So they did a great job today. So week 18 in the books. So I'll see you next week for week 19. Okay, have a great week. Bye.